him up. Elam is going to try this, and it will be a 60, let's call it 63-yard attempt. Spotted at the Bronco 47-yard line. Sam's a little hot. Elam's kick. Oh, the line drive. It's got enough distance.
Welcome into the Long Distance Kick podcast. My name is Rhett, and I am joined this evening by my lifelong brother, Ian Johnson. Ian, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling great. At this time tomorrow, we will hopefully be celebrating the first win of the Denver Broncos season. So I'm excited, man. I'm ready to talk about some good stuff tonight.
First of many. I can't wait. I feel like the NFL season has like 4 or 5 or 6 or 11 different times where you're like, football's finally back, and this is the one that's real. Like training camp, like they come back and it's like we get in for training camp, and I'm like, football's back, and then it's like you're checking like Twitter for updates and like maybe getting 2 highlights, and then we get our first preseason game, and you're like, football's back. Or even beforehand, the Hall of Fame game, like less than a month ago, or maybe a little over a month ago, we settled for the Hall of Fame game, and tomorrow we get real actual football. Football is back. Broncos football is back, and today we are going to be engaging in our season preview. So for those of you who've waited around for us, we will be delivering on the goods today. Normally, we have ended our podcast with our heading up and tailing off game, but because the last division we have left is the AFC West, I want to start from our division preview. I want us to start talking with the AFC West, and then we can drill specifically into the Broncos. So if you feel all right with that, Ian.
I feel all right with it. If anyone listening has a problem with it, it doesn't matter. It's our podcast, so let's do it.
If you do have a problem with it, you can...
we should probably start because we are technically behind because the Chiefs and the Chargers played last night. So
yes,
we got to get rolling on this and wrap up this whole segment we've been doing.
That's the
time
nice.
To put this series to bed.
It's time to take this series out behind the woodshed and put it out of its misery. So, Ian, let's start with those 2 teams that we have seen play. Let's start with the defending world runner-ups.
I cannot wait to make a case for how the Chiefs will improve on 15-2 when they've already lost 1 game. Let's see what happens. Flip that coin.
Here we go. No, Ian, you get to tell me why they're tailing off.
Okay, well, they've already lost 1 game. I don't think it's hard to make a case for this, in all due respect to the Chiefs, who, I mean, they have been a dynasty during the Mahomes, Andy Reid era. It is not hard to make a case for them to lose more than they did last year because they went 15-2. They are in a tough division. The division we're talking about today, I know we might seem biased, but it is one of the tougher divisions in football. We saw that last night. The Chargers out-physicaled the Chiefs all night long. Justin Herbert played an incredible game. We got to give him a shout-out. People keep pretending like he's a bad quarterback, which is strange. We're not talking about him right now. The Chiefs, like last night when I was seeing some of that, it surprised me how easily the Chargers receiving core moved about the Chiefs secondary. Keenan Allen kind of looked like he still has that great separation that I am not fully convinced he still does. So I was real confused. He did a great job making plays. There were like formations where they had Ladd, McConkey, and Keenan Allen on the same side, and that's just getting beat all year, unfortunately. The Chargers just kind of out-physicaled them. So the Chiefs kind of maybe showed their underbelly a little bit. I'm not overreacting to that. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the Chiefs are washed, they're not making the playoffs. They're still my pick to win this division. I kind of have the attitude of they're the AFC West champs until they aren't. But yeah, no, I think it's easy to see when you consider the early part of their schedule. We were texting about this the other night. They've got some tough games. They're going up against Philadelphia next week in a Super Bowl rematch. And I think you maybe said week 4 they play Baltimore. Is that correct?
It is. Between the two, they have to face the Giants, so it's a real murderer's row.
Sure. Yeah. So listen, and they don't have Rasheed Rice for the early part of this season, which of course they didn't have him last year. But I know Worthy got hurt and was out of the game. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I didn't see anything after the game about what that looks like long term. Mahomes kind of had to. He kind of had to be Thanos, like that drive where he just said, "I'll do it myself," and he can do that, of course. He's an incredible player, but it just looks like they showed their underbelly a little bit on defense, which is wild. I have a lot of respect for Steve Spagnuolo. It drives me crazy that no team hired him away as a head coach and given him another shot. But that defense looked like it was exploited. There was just a lack of discipline overall. I think about on the offensive line. I mean, Jawan Taylor, brother, we got to do something here, brother. I'm not sure why Jalen Moore wasn't starting. It just became more and more of a problem. I know he's got a big contract, but we got to do something about this. Because that offensive line is too good to be doing stuff I love Josh Simmons. Creed Humphrey, I would say is the best center in football. Trey Smith, they paid a lot of money to. So, there's that aspect of it. You saw a little bit of lack of discipline on defense. Of course, obviously the most popular example is that Herbert, run down the sideline to ice the game. Chris Jones had contained, but he ended up going inside trying to make a play. And so then Herbert took off. So, we're seeing some of that from the Chiefs, some areas that can be exploited. And when you have a well-coached team like the Chargers, which they're about to face some more well-coached teams, that can be an issue. So, I do not think the Chiefs are going to finish 15-2. I still like them to win the division, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a regression.
Yeah. There's no argument to make. This is a team that has to be tailing off. They literally can't. I looked up while you were talking. What does the 6-game suspension? What are those last 2 games? They do get the Jaguars in week 5, so that's a game that should be winnable. But they play the Lions week 6, and so you could
it's a tough schedule.
You're hoping right now, if you're a Chiefs fan, you are hoping for 3-3 through 6 weeks, and that's just a tough platform to build from. Now, the thing about the Chiefs is that they are a team that is still, they're going to get into the big dance, and then they will be a team that can beat anyone. But
they know how to win. Yeah,
honestly, the plight of the Chiefs right now, and to say that they have a plight is tough, but it feels very similar to me as a Denver Nuggets fan, watching the last couple of years. The Nuggets won a championship. We have kind of the undisputed best player in the world, and then the last couple of years we've seen we're in a place where I feel like in the NFL for the Chiefs, and the same with the NBA for the Nuggets, teams are saying 15 can't beat us. We can't, we're going to do everything we can to keep it from being the Patrick Mahomes show. So the entire league has adopted the too high shell. We're going to put a roof on the offense. We're going to stop everything. And Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He had a couple just redonkulous plays against the Chargers to get to that 20-point number that they had in that game. And still it came down to the lack of a surrounding cast, that there wasn't a receiver out there that was making a play for him, that more often it was Hollywood Brown dropping a pass on 3rd down, that there isn't the running game to support. No one's being made to play honestly against the Chiefs to support him. Jawan Taylor, I don't even know if Jawan Taylor was doing anything out of his normal stuff. It's the same thing from week 1 last year, where everyone was mad that Taylor was getting off the ball early.
It hasn't changed.
It seems like the refs just started calling that, and Taylor hasn't adjusted.
And they drafted, last year they drafted Kingsley Sumatai, who I saw as a tackle. They've been playing him at guard. But they draft Josh Simmons this year, who's starting, and he looks the part
He
for
looks,
sure. Credit to Josh
unfortunately.
Simmons. And you know what? I'm just going to be honest. Like, I didn't care about the injury. I'm going to plant my flag on that one. I had him as
Yeah.
a T1. I was right about that. Couldn't be more upset about it either. But then they bring Jalen Moore in from San Francisco, sign him to a pretty good contract. So a little surprised that we're still trying to make Juwan Taylor a thing, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think the person with the most pressure right now going into this year is Andy Reid, because uh you have to start to ask, like, okay, Andy, who are you going to bring it? You're going to have to come up with
Yeah.
either a new scouting staff or new coaching staff, because um, the guys you have at receiver aren't getting the concepts that you're running down, and the concepts you're
Yeah.
running aren't matching with the guys. Like, it's going to be interesting, and all of that to say all that negativity for a team that's probably going to win 11 to 12 games.
Well,
Like,
I was going to say the most sadistically funny timeline is that, at the end of the year, they went 16-1, and that would be
yeah.
frustrating. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
because they're still very good.
yeah,
The other team last night, the team that was actually the home team, that
they were got the win at home.
they got that home win. The Los Angeles Chargers, a team. I mean, Ian, I want to pose this question to you, because again, we've gotten to this point. They're going to win more than 7 games this year, for certain. So, can I pose this question? Last night, how do you feel? Do you feel more certain about Kansas City not looking all that good, or about Los Angeles looking as good as they did week 1? Like, which do you feel was really
Yeah,
the truth?
I don't know that it matters so much to me, because either way, we got to play both of these teams, and we got to try to beat both
Hmm.
of these teams. I do think, like last night, I definitely know I was rooting for the Chargers to win that game. However, it is interesting to think about as a Broncos fan, because does it actually does it serve Denver for the Chargers to look this good? And you can argue about how good they actually looked or not, but that's just all semantics to me. They
Hmm.
won the game. There was a lot of things you liked. The Chargers are interesting, man. Look, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And then our team, the Broncos, they've kind of been an offseason darling for a lot of people. It's really made me mad. Colin Cowherd will not stop talking about us. There's a few other guys too that I can't think of off the top of my head, but like, people are bullish on the Broncos.
Hmm.
The last couple of weeks, I have seen people they're the AFC Super Bowl pick, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And also, please stop talking. Sorry, we're not talking about the Broncos right now. But the Chargers, the reason I say this, because the Chargers have kind of been forgotten a little bit in this. Like, the Chargers finished second in the division last year, right?
Yeah.
They were a good team. Jim Harbaugh's a good coach. Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. Their defense was well coached. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where I knew they were good. So I guess this is a really long-winded roundabout way of saying it just didn't make a huge difference to me last night, because I knew the Chargers were good. They're going to continue to be good. So it doesn't make much difference to me. They're going to be a challenge.
It feels like a perception is reality situation, or maybe a perception versus reality situation, where if you were to explain both the Broncos and the Chargers as teams just from an outside perspective, you're almost talking about the same teams with a veteran, experienced head coaches that are known for creating hard-nosed teams that play hard, that are creative offensively, that really they are, they create winning organizations, winning programs. You're talking about quarterbacks that have, that are in conversations for being great. Obviously, the Chargers have a better quarterback. That's not really up for debate,
He's
I don't
awesome.
think.
He's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Justin Herbert is incredible. So long as we're talking about that, I loved Justin Herbert in college. Two Oregon quarterbacks. Uh,
I will own it. I did not love Justin Herbert in college. I remember his rookie year. I think I was still on Twitter back then.
Mhm.
I think this was a tweet. It was like talking about like some incredible stat from
Yeah.
Herbert's rookie season because he had an incredible rookie season. And I think somebody like quote tweeted it with like Oregon had him throwing bubble screens at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, I think that was the thing was his freshman year. I feel like he was like actually allowed to do stuff. The team wasn't good, and
Yeah.
then he got really limited. But freshman year, Justin Herbert was like cocaine to me. I loved him.
Well, yeah,
His in college, his early college tape was
yeah,
crazy.
sure, yeah, yeah,
But
that's fair.
the the way the league, I'm so jealous. The Chargers, no one's talking about them. I mean, not no one, but
It drives me
they're
crazy. I'm
no one's
with you,
talking about
man.
them. Everyone is picking the Broncos, and I hate it. I really want everyone to be crowning the Chargers, and I want to be the ones moving in silence right now. The Chargers
Yep,
are going to be a very very good football team.
they are.
My like it literally comes down to people's unshakable belief in the
And
chargering
that's
thing.
the whole thing is people
Yeah,
and I expected them to last night
yeah,
too when they were up, whatever they were by a
yeah.
couple scores there late in the game. I just was like, yeah, this is not going to go well for them.
I mean, their rookie running back ran out of bounds one play, and
Yeah,
on the timeline on Twitter, everyone was like, "I knew it." Everyone was
they
like,
about
"The
the charging.
frauds." Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
immediately. They were like, "Oh, okay, yep, there we are.
that
All right,
doesn't
the Chargers
surprise me.
like, and the Chargers have lost this
Yeah.
game. Like, they
But
were like,
no,
you're
they
done."
they iced it. Can we talk too about
Mhm.
and I know we're bouncing all around with the Chargers. This
Yeah.
is kind of evolved from picking whether they're heading up or tailing off and just more kind of addressing the
This
team as a
is
whole.
we
Uh
actually know about these teams is the thing.
right, right. Greg Roman calling a great game in the big 2025, man. Let me tell you. Well, let me rephrase that. Calling a great game that was predicated around passing and not running.
Yes.
That was very impressive to me. So shout out Greg Roman.
Yeah.
So
Seeing
anyway,
seeing the the makeup of the secondary for the Chiefs and saying we're gonna attack there, we're gonna do that, and
absolutely,
letting
that was
letting
great.
Justin Herbert be Justin Herbert.
It's a
Oof.
young secondary, and it's got guys who, you've got the veteran and Keenan Allen. You got Quentin Johnson, who's been around for a few years. Lad McConkey's not really that, but he just seems like a veteran, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, they did really good. It's funny because Rich Eisen would just every time Justin Herbert is like, "Hey, Justin Herbert dropping back to pass," like as if this was a weird.
Like, whoa.
uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, man.
A great game plan from Greg Roman. Letting
Yeah,
letting Justin Herbert control the game, choosing to not use Najee Harris a ton. Like he got his first carry, his first touch, like with about like 1 or 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and I was flabbergasted. I thought
they
that
let
was
the
going to
kid
be a
go.
mistake. I
They
thought that
let
was
the
a
kid
mistake
tee
they were
off.
primed to make, and no, they said this man is better at being running back, and we're going to go with Amarian Hampton, and I mean,
And
listen, God
first
bless him for it.
start, mixed results.
Mhm,
I am not cooling on Hampton. I get he'll get it figured out and everything. So
mhm.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
super. I'm not into Najee Harris at all, so I'm
Oh, I completely agree. Not interesting at all. So yeah, Bolt Nation, all of you that are tuning in,
yeah.
we think the Chargers are going to continue to be a good team, and
They're gonna be
I'm
tough.
I'm not excited to play them. I think it's going to be really tough. So
No, I cannot wait to hate this team again.
it's
Uh,
gonna feel right.
yeah,
It's gonna feel
like
good.
we're at a moment right now where they just beat the Chiefs. We haven't really like. I like this Chargers team. I enjoy the idea of them. I cannot wait to completely loathe them. I mean,
Yep.
if we lose our first game to the Chargers, I'm like, oof. Enemies for life. Speaking of enemies for life, the AFC West. One of the things is this is not a good division for the premise of heading up or tailing off because every team in this division is moving in a very strong direction.
Likely so. Likely so.
Like likely so. Um, and the Las Vegas Raiders, they're a fascinating team. So
Yeah.
Ian, this is going to be because we only have the Broncos left. This is going to be the final coin flip. of the heading
Final
off,
point.
head
Yep. All
up,
right.
tailing off era. So
Mm-hmm.
take this moment, appreciate it, and tell me why the Raiders are tailing off.
I think you got it wrong. I think it was actually the
Oh, it's the
heads.
heads.
So
Okay,
yeah, let
Ian.
me.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It looked like it was heads from my view.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I like some of the things the Raiders did. I mean, you got to first of all, in terms of like their front office, in terms of their brass. First of all, hire John Spytek at GM, who I think is a smart, savvy guy. He spent a lot of time in the Buccaneers front office, but he also, I think he cut his teeth in the scouting department under John Elway. If I'm not,
Mm.
he definitely has Denver roots. So he's got experience. He's respected around the league. And then hiring Pete Carroll as well. Who, yeah, he's old, but I mean he's still spry. And I mean, if you're talking about him versus Antonio Pierce or before him Josh McDaniels, yeah, I mean I think Pete is a perfectly solid hire at head coach, and I think that I really do like the move they made to trade for Geno Smith. This offense could be fun. Geno is another one of those guys. I would not put him on. Let me clarify. I would not put him on Justin Herbert's level, but kind of perpetually underrated since he's been a starter.
Mm-hmm.
People forget about the type of offensive line he was asked to play behind in Seattle, and I don't know, when you just watch him throw the ball, he's a firmly good starting quarterback. I think Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, that's potential to be fun. You look at some of these weapons they have. Obviously, they draft Genty. I think he's already going to be one of the better backs in the NFL. You have the best tight end, in my opinion, in the NFL, in Brock Bowers. You also have a solid tight end, too, in Michael Mayer. You've got Jacoby Myers. You've got Jack Besh, who we really like. They are really high on Dante Thornton, wide receiver from Tennessee. Look, this could be a fun offense. It really could.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, I'm maybe not as convinced, but I mean, look, they've got Max Crosby still. I mean that counts for something. So I do
Mm-hmm.
think I think the Raiders finished last in our division, but like they're going to be the last team in a really tough division. They'll be a tough out every week for people. This is not the Raiders of some years past where it's kind of a like, oh yeah, like you can probably feel good about marking that one up on the like that last year, even with the rookie quarterback, both of our games against Las Vegas, I was kind of like, yeah, we'll win this game, and I felt pretty good about it, and we did. This year, it's not going to be an easy out. They're going to be a tough team. So I do like where they're headed, and I think they'll definitely improve on that 4-13.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the Raiders as a franchise over the last couple of years, starting to do more sensical stuff.
Yeah.
Not nearly as many own goals as we've been used to enjoying from them. Um,
Yep.
I think a lot of that has come with Mark Davis has really allowed other people to step in and then just do their jobs.
Yep. Yep. Let the
And
football people make the football decisions.
yeah, like I don't know, spent the first part of his tenure trying to be like his dad, and then was like, what if I just did like just chilled? Like just
Right. Yeah.
what if I just allowed myself to just own a football team and let
Yep.
someone else run it? But um they
Yep.
are they're the unfortunate victims of being in the AFC West this year. This is a really, like you said, this is a tough division. And there are a lot of teams that look a lot like the Raiders that I'd be sitting here saying they're probably going to be in the playoffs. Like, I mean, like an offense that I'm kind of excited about and can get beyond. And then it's just like uh a bunch of Jimmys and Joes and a couple like really difference maker on defense that you're just hoping like can generate a couple game changing plays a game, and
Yep.
that's the plan going forward. And there's a lot of teams that are living on plans like that.
Yep.
There's a lot of we're investing in one side of the ball and making it work elsewhere. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They're doing it to a greater extent, but the Raiders, you can survive in the NFL in 2025. Like, winning with one side of the ball and getting by on the other.
Yep.
But like we've seen, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos are all teams that have, I would say, above average to good or greater, even elite offenses and defenses. Like they don't really have a one side of the ball that's bad. The Chiefs offense weirdly maybe is going to be kind of not good. Like I don't understand the Chiefs offense. It should be very good. I don't get it. But the Raiders defense is going to be bad this year, I think. I do like they don't
I
have the
would guess so. Yeah.
it's gonna be certainly bottom half of the league. And that's not going to do it in the AFC West, but it will do it in like the greater AFC. Like, in the
Yeah. I think they can
playing.
mess around and win some games.
Yeah. So this, I think they're going to make the jump, especially with Pete Carroll. They're going to make the jump from 4 wins to probably 7 or even 8 wins. I would expect this team to win at least 2 games in their division. I think they're feisty enough to do that, to steal a game, against steal a couple games against these three, I would say, like, very strong contending teams. So you know, we'll see. That leaves us though with one team remaining, uh, our very own Denver Broncos, 10-7 last year.
Just
And
rearrange some of those numbers around.
yeah, and could they go from
Depending on who you ask.
10-7 to 17-0? Question mark. 17-0. What are your feelings? Like where specifically have the Broncos improved this year the most? Like what sticks out to you
Yeah.
beyond just this player has gotten better, like over, like the
Yeah.
progression thing where
Yep. So a couple areas. Number one, I like that they identified. It's silly. See, it feels silly to say weak points when we're talking about the Broncos defense.
Mhm.
But some of those places they bring in Dre Greenlaw at linebacker. I know he's going to be out this week. I know he's still. A lot of people are real freaked out about him coming back from injury, and I don't think there's any sense in panicking about that. But they bring in Dre Greenlaw. They bring in Talanoa Hufanga. We got some enforcers. We also have brought back a lot of our guys. We re-signed DJ Jones, which was an underrated move. We extended Zach Gallen, extended Nick Benito, and last year we had extended John Cooper, Pat Surtain. I mean, we just a lot of really good moves there. For as much as we're not necessarily moved by Alex Singleton, he's back and he's healthy. Definitely brings a lot of intelligence to that defense. So it's going to be good to have him back. So they, as weird as it might be to say, it feels like they improved on an already really great unit on the defensive side of the ball. On offense, I think the obvious ones would be they bring in Evan Ingram, who is just a weapon of a little bit of a different flavor than we've had on the Broncos offense, that competent move tight end who can make plays in the middle of the field. They also really, in my opinion, improved their running back room. I loved bringing in J.K. Dobbins late. I loved the R.J. Harvey pick. I really, really liked him at UCF. I know some people weren't as excited about that one. I think he's going to be a real interesting player in this offense. And depending on how you look at it, you could say we improved the wide receiver room. I know we traded Devon Vele, who we both think is a solid player, but with the jump of Troy Franklin that we're hoping is real and tangible in the regular season, and then with Pat Bryant being ahead of schedule, it could be possible that this receiver room actually looks improved as well. And so, I think the Broncos did a good job of coming in and addressing some pretty obvious needs, and it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give my full answer because, like, honestly, you covered a lot of it. What stuck out to me in you answering that made me feel good is it felt like the 2 rooms that they really were like, we need to solve are kind of the last 2 rooms that you should be solving, right? Like
Sure.
if you have everything else squared away,
Go get a
you
linebacker
can
and a
invest
safety.
at middle linebacker,
Yeah.
safety. You can invest in running back,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. That's
and
true.
it feels a lot like that as a team, where like the
Yep.
completion of a roster project, and this is the first year of no, this roster should be ready to go. This roster should be good, kind of finished, done. And that's what I think Sean Payton is saying. Is he's saying, hey, I think I've completed this project, like for the
Yep.
roster. Now let's go see what it can do, and that's exciting. Before we move into superlatives, I want to ask Ian, uh, where do you see what is this feels like maybe potentially an unsinkable ship here, but uh, what parts of this Broncos team, this roster, are the things that are susceptible to the iceberg, if you will? If
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think that focus on the offensive side of the ball here. I mean, there's one thing that's obvious, which is if Bo Nix regresses, if we don't see apparent improvements in areas he needs to improve, then that could be an obvious hindrance to our season. And time will tell. I know we have people concerned about how he looked in the preseason, where it's like, oh, I mean, how much did he really play in the preseason? I'm really not going to get panicked about that stuff. But another thing I'll say that maybe could be considered a bit of a dark horse, I think we could see our offensive line being a bigger issue than people might expect. A lot of the national perception is very favorable to our offensive line. I think in particular, Ben Powers and Luke Wattenberg. I'm not completely sold on either of them.
Mhm.
It's regretful for me to say that about Ben Powers, because he was a guy who's a big contract guy a couple years ago with McGlinchey when Sean Payton first came. I don't know, man. And maybe if he's just playing across from Quinn Miners as the other guard, and I feel like I've just seen him get pushed around quite a bit. Wattenberg, obviously we're all wondering, like, what does he really have to offer in the run game? Like, what's the ceiling look like there? I know a lot of people make the joke about if you could combine him and Forsyth together, that'd be a pretty darn good center. Well, we can't do that. So how does he hold up over time? I want to say it was the NFL Stock Exchange podcast
Mhm.
they did a mock draft. I know they already
Mhm.
did one, but they did. Shout out Trevor and Cotter, my favorite podcast. Um, and they gave us Connor Liu, center out of Auburn. And I just thought, like, yeah, this is something where next year I want us to invest early on the offensive line.
Mhm.
People liken it. Daniel Jeremiah, usually he uses the logs on a fire analogy with that. Like, don't wait for the fire to be going out to add logs on the fire. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us next offseason to add more pieces. And I do think we could see our offensive line possibly struggle a little more than they did last year. So those are the
Mhm.
two main things. On defense, I just think, like, the injury bug could really hit us again. I think we
Yeah.
have a lot of guys on
Mm.
that side of the ball who have dealt with injuries in the past. Dre Greenlaw's still coming back. Singleton has dealt with them. Talanoa Hufanga has dealt with them. And so we could see some injuries. And I mean, Malcolm Roach right now, he
Mhm.
just got put on IR. So we're going to miss him for at least 4 weeks, which is a bummer because he's an underrated player. So, yeah, there's definitely some weak points like any team, and we'll see how we handle those.
Yeah. I agree your sentiment about the interior of the offensive line. Ben Powers, I think when I heard that we were going to be moving a little bit more towards doing a zone scheme, of running, my first thought, well, I don't know, a thought I had at some point was, uh, ooh, what does that look like for Ben Powers?
Yeah.
He's not really built for that. For anyone listening, there's kind of gap power scheme where you're really trying to go forward, up and down, vertical, be very big, strong. You want guys that are not movable, the immovable objects here, right? Big, strong boulders, in your offensive line to be able to push forward. And then there's also the zone scheme, which is much more horizontal moving, and you actually want your offensive lineman to be a little bit mobile in that system, to be able to set up blocks and
Yeah.
get teams on the move. And we are moving a little bit more towards the zone scheme,
Yep.
and I don't think that fits really well with Ben Powers. And like you said, Luke Wattenberg, power in general with him is a question of figuring that out. So,
Yep. Yep.
um, the other stuff on the defensive side, the nice thing is that the injury bug issue is the thing that can bring down every single contender. That like
You're
the
right.
the
You're
thing,
right.
yeah, the thing you can't that's an issue that you can't prepare for. You can't you know like you do your best, but that's the good
And
news is that
all of those things we're talking about now, to be fair, like
Mhm,
we're not discussing these as like reasons to panic. We're more framing these as these are still questions that we want to hear the answer for,
mhm.
and we're gonna find out one way or another. So
Yeah, we're gonna see. So that's the sort of some of the broad. I'd say broad. We were just talking about our about Ben Powers and Luke Wanberg, but at a broader sense. But one of the ways I want to talk about this year is to talk about it under the guise of, oh wait, actually before superlatives. Uh, One of the things moving forward we had,
oh yeah,
one of the big pieces of news over
big
a very
news.
productive offseason was, oh my goodness, was the extension of one Nick Benito. Nick received a 4-year, $106 million deal, 70 million of it guaranteed. That's an average of 26.5 million a year. Ian, how does it feel to know that Nick Benito is here to stay?
It feels really, really great, man. I know we talked about this the last time we recorded, and I admit I've tried to remember what exactly I said about because Michael Parsons had just signed his deal, and
Hmm.
47 million per year. I think we were both like, obviously Nick Benito is not going to sniff that, but we did think, at least I thought, that now that that happened, we're probably gonna like 30 is probably the floor, or maybe a little bit under. I'm kind of delighted with the way that this broke for the Broncos. Nick Benito gets paid. He earned every penny, but also, I mean, yeah, you look at that 26.5 mil a year, like I think that's great.
Hmm.
Now, if that bumps up because the incentives kicked in, that's actually a good thing for the Broncos too, because that means he's out there earning them. Listen, Benito's a great player, man. When he was coming out of the draft, everyone knew he had the juice as a pass rusher. People had questions, I think, about like his play strength, his ability to defend the run, and I still think it's fair to say those aren't like the strengths of his game. But I think he is a great example of like, man, when you've got a guy that just has the juice as a pass rusher, like that's worth betting on a lot of the time. Those guys
Hmm.
maybe don't always work out, but man, his first step, his explosion, his ability as a pure pass rusher, he has become a stellar player, and he was a guy that, frankly, like we wanted to see get locked up. So I'm glad it happened before our season started, and I love that Denver has become a culture where you expect to reward the guys in your locker room that have been leading and have been, putting it out there on the field. So good for Nick Benito, man. That's great.
Yeah, I'm I'm super excited about it. Nick Benito, a an OU Sooner, who I'm not someone, I don't identify as an OU fan, but as an Oklahoma expat. Um, you just follow the Sooners. I don't know. I live so far away from home now. They're the only Oklahoma team that's super relevant. So Oklahoma State, doesn't get talked about in New
Oh
England,
gosh,
neither,
man.
much less Tulsa. But so I found myself
Rain came.
over the last 5 7 years or so, watching a lot of OU, just a lot of their games, and they're one of the teams that like I wasn't watching for to scout college players. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just kind of watching OU, and one of the things that I'm really happy about is that the two guys that stood out for me as like, oh, they're just dudes, that make plays, from OU over the last several years. Two of those guys that I was just like, nah, they're dogs. They're awesome. Are Marvin Mims and Nick Benito.
Yep.
When we drafted Benito, I was like, yeah, I don't know, like the like I'm afraid of yeah, is he going to be able to defend a run? But like that, he just knows how to rush the passer. He just has it
He
innately. So
does. He
I
does, man.
feel I feel really confident that he's going to certainly earn this contract. Like I don't think it's there. I'm really glad that we did this deal now, that we
Yep.
didn't play the game of seeing what, is he going to follow it up or whatever. I think
Yep.
he feels good about where that number is. If I was in his situation and you say, hey, you can take 26 and a half a year right now, or you can maybe get 35, 40 million a year from now, I think I'd take the 26 just because, God forbid injury or whatever. So being able to lock in that kind of long-term money and do it with I feel like 70 million is a lot guaranteed. And that's just like that's a
Yeah,
nice thing. Having
that's
having
great, man.
the richest owners in sports is really great that we can
It is awesome, man. It is one of
that
the biggest parts of why we've seen kind of an upswing because our ownership.
yeah,
So
because because again, when you're doing the guaranteed money, the Broncos, like the Walton family has taken $70 million right now, and they put it in an escrow account to
yeah,
pay out to him. Like
yeah,
to give out the guaranteed money, you literally have to have that money on hand and go
yeah,
put it in like a safety deposit box,
yeah,
more or less. And the fact that they're just like, we want to, well, just 70 million, yeah, sure, is that's awesome
yeah.
because that's the real money. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
like in the
Of
NFL, the
course,
the only real money is the guaranteed.
the guaranteed money.
So
Absolutely.
um, I love it, and the thing I was seeing on the timeline is this like there's not a member of this team that I would consider a part of the core that isn't locked up through at least 2027.
It's awesome, man. That says a lot about what we can expect
Hmm.
our floor to be in the next few years, especially in Bo's rookie contract window. You feel really good about us being able to sustain some level of success, man. It feels great. Feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just I mean, real quick, just always better to just pay your stars early. Just always better to
Hmm.
do it. And the Broncos, shout out to George Payton and his whole crew for negotiating so many contracts this offseason and the last offseason with like no drama whatsoever. Man, awesome stuff.
And even kind of not negotiating contracts with no drama, like Jonathan Franklin Myers is not really getting a contract here, and there hasn't been that much drama around that
Right,
either. Like
right.
they kind of were just like right up front. They're just like, "Hey, JFN, we're not paying you, but hopefully you play well this year. Someone else will." like,
Well,
like,
yeah, and I think
like,
I think with JFM, I think he said too at some point in like training camp, he was like,
mhm,
"Yeah, I mean, either they pay me or I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to make a lot of money somewhere else." And I was, yeah, he's right,
yeah,
absolutely.
like,
And I'd love to retain him. I know Savion Jones being drafted was kind of a contingency plan there. I mean, I'd love to pay him. We'll see
mhm.
what happens. So
Yeah, I'd like to see, but regardless, just the fact that it feels like, wow, this is a team where now everybody's like, it doesn't feel like there's anyone here who's thinking about themselves and being like, I got to get mine. I got to, all of the big pieces of play can now focus just on doing whatever the team needs to win and figuring it out.
absolutely,
So
yep,
that's exciting. Let's get into some superlatives for this year. Predictive
yep.
superlatives for the Denver Broncos. So we're gonna do some most likely twos here. Ian, tell me, who do you think is most likely to be second on the team in receiving yards at the end of the year?
It's a question worth asking because I think some people might have said Devon Vele before we traded him. Um, I I feel like there's an obvious answer here that's maybe not exciting, which would just be Evan Ingram. And I think that's probably what I'm going to say my answer is. I think if you look at his bread and butter, like he's a guy that in short area of the passing game, he can do a lot of damage. Obviously, we've talked about this. Evan Ingram is essentially a big receiver. And I mean that in a complimentary way. A lot of what Vele would have been used for, I think Ingram's going to absorb. Um, Now, some of that target share, of course, will go to Troy Franklin or Marvin Mims. I think why I don't say either of those guys, not because I'm not high on them, I don't see them necessarily as high volume players. And what I mean by that is I don't think they're guys who are going to go out every week and get 8 to 10 catches. You know, uh,
Hmm.
I not because I don't think they're good, but because I just don't think their body types allow for that. Now, Troy Franklin did put on some muscle, so maybe I could be wrong about that one. But Evan Ingram seems to make the most sense to me. I was going to be spicy with it, and I was going to actually say Cortland Sutton. Um, but I mean, if what we saw in preseasons any indicate, I mean, Bo is just so he loves
Yeah.
throwing the court's reliable. So I do still think he's probably still the triple crown guy on our team.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'll go Evan Ingram for that one.
Okay, I like that. For me, I was thinking about this, and um, Evan Ingram came up, and I thought I was going back and forth how to phrase this. Was this going to be about receiving yards or about targets in the offense? And I decided with a good friend of the podcast, CJ Wilson,
Shout out CJ.
tonight. Yeah, I was talking with him, and what I think makes this question interesting is because of the kind of targets that we're going to see people getting. Evan Ingram is a great receiver, more of a horizontal um, playmaker, I would say
Yep.
generally. And I'm wondering if it's possible that Troy Franklin ends up being second
Hmm.
in receiving yards, and I'm wondering if it comes off the back of maybe he just hits a good amount of the deep balls. I mean, even last year when he was slider of frame, when he was dropping everything, he was wide open
Yep.
downfield a lot. And
Yep.
so I'm hoping and wondering, and I'm speculating as to whether or not Troy Franklin might be able to um, be the second in receiving yard totals because he has, 4 or 5 60, 70 yard
Yeah.
receptions mixed in there, and that tips the scales. I also just I want to throw Marvin Mims into the conversation. Like I don't know how many targets he's going to end up getting. Like he's going to get every touch he's going to get, every target he's going to get is going to be a high impact one. I don't know if he's going to get enough to get into that conversation of receiving yards. I know he's going to get probably some rushing yards too, like all purpose. But I would say for me, I think the most exciting answer would be if Troy Franklin is second. So
Okay. I would agree with that.
yeah. Um, Another along the same kind of question line, Ian, who do you think on the Broncos is most likely to be first in rushing yards this year?
Yeah, I think this one will be RJ Harvey. I we witnessed definitely some of the juice in preseason from him. I do think that J.K. Dobbins will be the starting running back to start the year, and I like J.K. Dobbins. I just have questions about his durability, which I think are very valid
Hmm.
questions to have given the unfortunate turn of his career. So I just think J.K. Dobbins probably can't be depended on for a full 17 game season. I like a lot of what RJ Harvey brings to the table. And while a lot of times, a Sean Payton backfield, that can be so, uh, high variance in terms of usage, I think that by week 6 or 7, if not earlier, we'll kind of see RJ kind of settle into being that primary guy. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the dynamic. I'm excited about the possibility though. Like until Dobbins gets injured, he's not. And
yeah,
if we are blessed with a full healthy season of J.K. Dobbins,
be great.
I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in Broncos country over just how effective a running back he can be. Where, you know, if we're like what RJ Harvey's success looks like is more explosive plays and still with a little bit of the ups and downs and whatnot. A great J.K. Dobbins season is going to look a lot like a really consistent run game
Yeah,
where he's got some of the maybe he could bust a long one maybe every once in a while, but really Dobbins is just so good with vision, getting what the run is supposed to get out of it. And if the offensive line is able to have a season similar to what it was having last year, that could be just special for this offense to have a running back that's
absolutely. It kind of makes me think of we had no Sean Moreno, and then we bring in after a couple of years we bring in Willis McGahee,
mm,
veteran who just he came in and there was just kind of that steadiness there. And I think he even had like a really great year for us one of those years. Like
mhm.
he might have had like 1,200 yards or something.
I believe
But
he did, yeah.
just brought a steadiness, and obviously like some of the underwhelming things about No Sean Moreno, who I still think was probably a better player than fans give him credit for. I don't think we necessarily have those concerns with RJ Harvey. I'm not saying that as a
Hmm.
projection for him, but I am saying it could be something that kind of reminds of like a Willis McGahee, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a guy who's been in the league for a while. He's steady. He might not bring us a ton of explosive plays this year, but he is gonna be somebody that we feel like we can rely on, and I hope he is healthy enough to be able to do that. So.
Mhm. I'll see your Willis McGahee, and I'll raise you like a CJ Anderson, where
Sure.
the home run stuff wasn't necessarily there. Like some, like
That Patriots
that
game,
overtime,
our
yeah,
Super Bowl year, yeah.
the slowest home run
Hey, it was a snow
ever.
game. Hey, it was a snow
It
game.
was, yeah, but
Give my man
uh
credit.
yeah, you could see something more in that style. And but I would agree. The answering the question, the most likely to lead the team in rushing yards, I think is going to be RJ Harvey. Who, I mean, just quick thoughts. 12. How you feeling?
It's fine. I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I like to participate in the numbers discourse, but I'm kind of tired of it at this point with him. Like, yeah, I'm frustrated that like 4 was there and people are like, well, Sam Ellinger is wearing 4. And I'm like, exactly. Samuel, who, to be fair, was just added to the active roster today. Shout out Sam Ellinger.
Mhm.
So it kind of frustrates me that he didn't get 4, but whatever. 12 is weird looking for a running back, but I bet if he goes out there and he plays well, we're not really going to care. So
Yeah, my favorite part about the whole thing is that he has everyone else's exact thoughts. Like they were like, "What was?" When he got asked about changing the number, he was like, "Yeah, 12. Well,
yeah,
honestly,
it
it's all
wasn't
right. They're
37.
just yeah." He was like there wasn't a lot of there weren't any better numbers available, and I was like, okay,
You could have
so
caught 25, brother.
yeah,
25 would have
I
looked
yeah.
great.
I guess that's the thing. Yeah, 25. I think would have been good, but if he goes nuts in 12, that's gonna be cool.
Great.
So
That's great.
we
Whatever.
like it. Um, Ian, which player do you think is most likely to lead the team in interceptions this year?
Yeah, this was probably the most fun one to think about. I think
Hmm.
again, this isn't an answer that I think is super profound or daring. I'm going to say Brandon Jones. I think that you have Pat Surtain, who he's entered a few years ago. He entered that stratosphere of guys that you just don't really throw too much if you can help it. I think that maybe the easy thing is to say, well, maybe like Riley Moss, because he's just in turn, he's the other guy across the other side of the field, or also another easy one would be Jaquan McMillan, who just has, he's in a lot of turnovers. I think Brandon Jones, he's going to be that guy that is,
Hmm.
kind of that center fielder for our defense in a lot of scenarios. And I think we've seen since he's been on the team, just his range is really impressive. He has,
Hmm.
it's not like elite on the level of like a Kyle Hamilton or anything like that, but just the ability to get somewhere and to cover that ground is really impressive. He is a guy who, I mean, a lot of times he has shown up when we've needed a turnover. So I like him. I kind of see Talanoa Hufanga as, he's the guy that can play up close and, be a bruiser and add support in the run game. And then Brandon Jones is kind of the guy who can hang back and be that ball hawk. So Brandon Jones is my pick. But what's fun about this one is you could say a lot of different guys and it wouldn't sound crazy.
Hmm. Yeah. DJ Jones. No.
I was about to say, yeah.
No, I I will say I thought about Brandon Jones a lot. I thought about Riley Moss. But uh if Jaquan McMillan gets the playing time that we're seeing in the
Which he is
preseason,
currently the
which
starting nickel. So
he's currently if he's the starting nickel throughout the season, he will lead the team in interceptions. Why? Because Jacob McMillan just gets his hands on the ball a lot.
he does. He
I
does, man.
have no scientific level breakdown of this. Dude just picks the ball off. Like
He's just in a
if
lot
he's on
of
the
turnovers.
and I think you know actually I will give a little bit of a breakdown here. You can't throw you can't throw the ball to two. You can't
No.
throw the opposite way to whoever else your number two receiver, because a lot of times I think that's going to be Riley Moss and Brandon Jones kind of bracketing, or they're going to have a little more safety over the top, and so then you're going to be going inside, and there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this league who will always, forever, every single time, consistently hit that outbreaking route. Jaquan McMillan is just so good
I think
covering outbreaking
Jaquan.
routes, man.
I think part of it with Jaquan is he just knows. He's like, I'm 5'8". I'm not even supposed to be here. I might as well. I might as well make a thing up. Like he just goes for it, man. Like, and
He is
I
never like
respect that.
he's never like that receiver's going to catch the ball and then I'm going to be on him. He's like, no, I've got to.
Right. There's something to be said about it. Just like, yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna live or die by the big play. So
I say he gets interceptions all the time. He's had the same interception 7 times in his career.
that's
It's
what it feels
always
like.
it's a quarterback
The one against Cleveland, it feels like that is every interception he's had. I don't know why that's the
outbreaking
case.
route, a quarterback throwing to his left, and McMillan just undercuts that ball and just gets to it. Yeah, that's so he's going to do that 7 times this year. So I like this one, and then this one, honestly, this one's a late addition, so I haven't had time to think about it. But Ian, who do you think is most likely to make their first Pro Bowl this year?
Yeah. So I mean, I looked this up before our podcast, so I guess it has to be true. I'm going to say Zach Allen. He's not made a Pro Bowl. He's made some second team All Pros. But if I'm not mistaken, he has not made a Pro Bowl. And I thought he was one of the best defensive linemen in the league last year. I think he does a lot of things at an elite level. And I think some of like him getting the contract extension, him getting the big money, that kind of puts you on the map a little more for stuff like Pro Bowl, right? Like people take a little bit more note of you. And even like things that to me don't matter at all. Like he got on the NFL top 100, which I do not care about at all. But like he's going to slowly start, like it's more and more common knowledge how dominant he is. There were a lot of fun candidates for this one. I think there's one person in particular that we're all thinking would be great if that were the case. But I'm just going to go, I'm going to go Zach Allen. I think it's about time he got to go to the Pro Bowl.
I like it. It's interesting because some of the I want to say Bo Nix. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl last year, but I typically the Pro Bowl is kind of cooked anyway because of the way that
fan voting is terrible.
Fan voting's terrible, and then guys not showing up.
Yeah, they just opt out. You got guys like Tyler Huntley a couple years ago making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I would say I keep thinking about Mac Jones making the Pro Bowl.
Right.
But it would be hard for Bo Nix and Ernest to make a Pro Bowl this year because he's playing in the AFC. Who
are you going to put him over?
The four dominant quarterbacks, best quarterback in the league, are all AFC quarterbacks. The big four are.
You've got Herbert there too.
You've got Herbert. You've got
right
Geno Smith, who could also be.
CJ Stroud.
I can see that being really difficult. I tell you, I would be over the moon if we got to see any member of the Broncos offense make a first team Pro Bowl.
That'd be great. Like if Garrett Bowles made a Pro Bowl, that would just rule, man. That'd be so great.
Garrett Bowles making the Pro Bowl, I think would be really sick. He's in a position where he has made more of a name for himself. I think the correct answer is Zach Allen. I honestly didn't even have him on the list because I had assumed he had made a Pro Bowl. So getting him there. Shout out to the narrative could be there for Riley Moss if teams try him out and he gets a couple interceptions.
If we have Surtain and then a Pro Bowler across from him, oh man.
Yeah, like that could be there. I would love, just in terms of if we're just wish casting or doing fan fiction, Jonathan Cooper making a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I thought about him. Yeah,
if Benito goes crazy, but Jonathan Cooper also goes crazy, and the both of them make it, that'd be nuts. And then Bo Nix would be nice. I think though I would say Zach Allen, and then I'd love me a GB Pro Bowl, man.
One of my all-time favorite Broncos, dude. I'd be so happy for him.
Dude, he has no one has made more of an emotional journey with me and the Denver Broncos than Garrett Bowles, man.
If we're being honest, when I try to think about like my favorite player that's currently on our team, there's so many like cooler answers that I probably would say because like, offensive linemen aren't like the most exciting position. Honestly, if you ask my heart of hearts, Garrett Bowles is probably my favorite just in terms of how much I care about. Like, yeah, he's been with us since 2017, man. He's overcome so much. He's a great presence in the community, a great presence in the locker room, dude.
And he
The
just
day
he just loves football, man. He's ten
dude,
toes in on everything in
I
life
love
that he
Garrett
does, man.
Bowles. I love Garrett.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites, man. I
Mhm.
love Garrett Bowles.
He's given us I want for him so desperately to have a moment where we get to like juxtapose him being like, I've been here for 7 years, man. All I've done is lose. And then like boom, like, him
Yeah,
with the Lombardi or whatever, something like that. Like
yeah.
that'd be cool. Okay, well, let's get down to the brass tacks here.
Mm.
We've got we've got a game coming up. So I want to know what is your score prediction for week 1, and then what is your what we'll talk about. Well, I don't know. How do we want to do? Yeah, score prediction week 1.
You just tell me and we'll do it.
And
Okay.
then I want to know the record that the Denver Broncos end with, and I want to know where they get positioned in the AFC West, and then
Okay.
what does the postseason path look for you? We'll talk through that, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay. So we're talking about this game first.
Yeah, first off, because we got a
And
game
then,
tomorrow, man.
and then we're extrapolating that over
Yes.
based on week 1 against the Titans. What do you expect? Okay. Sure, man. That's great. My score prediction for tomorrow is 20-13 Broncos. That would upset a lot of fans in our fan
Mhm.
base. I heard one person who is a considerable presence in Broncos media say that he would be disappointed if the Broncos didn't win by 3 scores. And it is possible that happens, but I also think it's a little insane for us to expect something like that against another NFL team.
Mhm.
I think this Titans team on defense, I think they're a little underrated. I don't think they're going to be an elite defense by any stretch. I maybe talked about this last week or on an episode. I like some of their corners. I like Roger McCreary. I like Jarvis Brownlee. These are guys who I think can they can be pests in the run game. I I like Amani Hooker just got paid today, I think, or maybe yesterday at
Yeah, he
safety.
did.
Look, and I mean, of course, you go into the very front of their defense. Jeffrey Simmons is a beast. And I know, I guess, apparently he gave us some bulletin board material or whatever, but I don't really care that much about that. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Broncos fans are underestimating how slow our offense starts, right? Like we
Yeah.
are always perpetually, like it's like we still think Peyton Manning's about to go throw 7 touchdowns on the Ravens or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
no, we start slow on offense. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think that going into halftime, the Titans will be in the lead. I do. I think they're going to be in the lead. I think they're going to be ahead 7-6. I think our fan base
Mhm.
is going to be panicking. I think then we go out in the second half and we control the game and we take over. It's one of those weird things, Rhett, where like I think that there is too much of a talent discrepancy between rosters for the Broncos to not win. I
Yeah.
feel pretty dang confident that they're going to, but I also feel pretty dang confident it's actually going to be closer than people think. I
Mhm.
don't want to underestimate the Titans. I don't want to do it, man. Cam Ward's a rookie quarterback going against our defense. That's tough, but he's also just got that he's got like a fearlessness and a big game hunter mentality where I think while sometimes it'll probably bite him in the game, I think he's going to go out and try to make some audacious throws against us and not back down. I think they could end up finding some success running the ball against us. I like a lot of the guys on their offensive line. I think the Titans that'll probably be the spearhead of their game plan is to try to run against us. I think you
Mhm.
look at like I know they just paid Dan Moore a lot of money to come play tackle for them. I don't know that that's a guy I would count on against John Cooper, Nick Benito. So I think our pass rush is going to be pretty potent, but I think they could find some success running the ball against us. But again, at the end of the day, as much as it's going to feel like a slow start, I think the Broncos pull this one out. I think they win 2013. I think it's also possible that could be a score that makes it seem closer than it actually was too. But yeah, that's what I think happens. So
okay. All right. Yeah. 2013. That feels like a week one.
and can I say
score.
something too? Like with the score thing, like we should be excited about a win. I don't care what the score is. I understand like there's some context. Like if Bo Nix goes out there and throws like 4 picks, that's a little disheartening for our long-term prospects. But like I don't want people being like, man, we only put 20 on the Titans. Like we only won by 7 points. I remember last season a story of 2 different wins. We go on the road against Tampa Bay, who was a very good team last year, and we dominate them. I think we win 26-7. Later in the year, we are at home against one of the worst teams in the league in the Cleveland Browns, and they took us to the wire. It was a real high-scoring game. Okay, there are no bad NFL teams. There's just not. I know if we get into relativity, it's a whole other discussion, obviously. But like every single one of these teams is rostered by players who are good enough to be in the NFL. And so any win you get, you should be grateful for and you should enjoy. That's kind of my take. I know I don't want to gatekeep fandom. I know I don't get to do that, but that's just kind of my take on it. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the game?
Yeah. My official score prediction is I think we're going to win 23-6.
Okay.
I haven't, that's, what is a 14, 17, 16-point win? 17-point win. I don't know. That's a lot. 17, I think is what that ends up being. I can't do math. The vibe I feel like we're gonna get is Sean Payton he's been talking about slow starts. I feel like he's been talking about slow starts for a long time, so I don't know I don't know what he's changed to make them better, but I don't think that we're gonna be so flat. And just genuinely, uh, a rookie quarterback going to play at elevation against what should be the league's best defense, even without Dre Greenlaw, I don't know where the Titans score points. It would be an early, like it would be your scenario.
I think like Tony Pollard springs like a long run, but some missed assignment,
Yeah. I'm thinking we just don't have the missed assignment, and then we end up with kind of that same place. And I don't think it's going to feel I think it's going to be it's going to be a lot of the ground game for us. Like I think we're going to try to like make a statement and say, hey, we can run the ball this year.
Totally, man. And not to kind of cut into your time to talk, but
no,
I was looking at some of that. So last year, they saw the 6th most rush attempts in the league. I think they saw the fewest pass attempts. And I'd love to maybe look back and see what the specific context was. But regardless of what it is, teams chose to run the ball a lot on the Titans. I think they gave up the 7th most rushing yards last year. It was not an uncommon thing for them to give up a big rushing play on the ground. So I all that is to say, I agree with you. I think that'll probably be an emphasis for both offenses, is to try to establish the ground game early.
Yeah, so this one should be a win. I've recorded our predictions. I don't know. We might keep track of how good or bad or how close we do. But going forward,
listen, tomorrow, I know we've emphasized fast starts, but I don't want to be the recipient of the Fell for It Again award. I'm sorry. Like I'm going to let the rest of the fan base do that. And when everyone else is just shocked about like, why have we not, I'm not going to be surprised, man. Like, and that I don't want that to be heard as I don't have confidence in Sean Payton or Bo Nix or whatever. I just think I think we're going to have a couple dumb penalties pre-snap. I think it's just going to take us a little while to get our bearings. And then I think we'll win and we'll feel great about it. It's just, we just need to be prepared.
Well, and the thing is week one is not about like style points. You survive week
Yeah.
one. Get out there and get a win. And make sure, because don't be like, the Cincinnati Bengals. The reason that we were in the playoffs last year and the Bengals were not is that they started 0-3. Like
Yeah.
they they did not start their season well, and these wins count uh, as much towards the playoffs as Week
Yeah.
18 will.
Yeah.
So uh, there's no such thing as a bad win in Week one. Or really ever. I don't know.
I will always take. I'll always
let's
take a win, man. I'll always take a win.
let's
When
take a win.
we
So
when
if
we beat the New York Jets in like week 4 or whenever that is, and Bo Nix had 60 passing
Mhm.
yards, I was psyched, man. I was so happy we got out
Yeah,
of there with a win. Uh, yeah, I don't care about
yeah,
some of the other context. Give me that W, and we'll move on to the next week. So
respect everyone, fear no one. Let's try
stars
to get in
straight,
and out with a win.
absolutely.
Ian, this year, what is your final record prediction for the Denver Broncos?
I think my record prediction. I'm. I'll put my name on it. I'm gonna still with my chest say we go 11-6. I feel like I'm such a cynical, pessimistic person that I'm trying even right now to talk myself out of that, because like how embarrassing is it to overshoot your expectations for your team? But I'm gonna let it breathe a little bit, and I'll even say this: I still think we finished second in the West over the Chargers, even though they came out of the gates looking really good last night. I'm gonna have some confidence in Sean Payton. I'm gonna have confidence in this defense. I am going to trust that Bo Nix has worked to improve areas that he wasn't so great in last year. I think it's going to be a fun year for us. I think we make the playoffs again, and I think we win a playoff game. So yeah, that's what I think,
Mm,
and I'm going to stand on it.
all right, all right. Uh, I am the opposite of you. I'm an optimist, and so it's funny. My prediction is 12-5, and I am forcing myself to say 12-5 because my heart says 13-4. Uh,
I don't know about that one.
most of,
I don't know, Jim.
most of my,
Shout out Tony Romo.
uh, I
I don't
really,
know, Jim.
oh, as we get to the season and more reality seeps in, it may change. But man, the more and more I think about this team, I think about the component parts, who I have to trust in to get results and do that. This is just a really good football team, man. This is Bo Nix doesn't have to be world shattering for this team to be an absolute wagon. If Sean Payton shows up with his best play calling, if this defense is really what it is, we should be able to win a whole lot of games. And so I'm gonna give it 12-5. I believe in this team, and as as chalk as it seems to be nowadays, I will predict that I think the Denver Broncos will win the AFC West. Uh,
Okay.
Even though, as I sit here and talk about it, 12 wins is a small amount of wins to win the AFC West, I think, this year. So, but that's the thing. I'm
But we
I'm not
could
here to
all
make sense.
our teams could all eat each other in that division as part of it
That's
too.
that's true. If
Is
we
it
if
a
we all beat
bad
each other up,
is it a bad omen that while you're
yes.
talking about that, my dog is on our sofa down here just absolutely vomiting profusely all over our couch? And I just kind of am just sitting here and it's just happening. I'll deal
Yeah.
with that later.
No, no, no. My very specific prediction is that the Broncos win the AFC West in a three-way tie. A 12 and 5, 12 and 5, 12 and 5 tie. We win on tiebreakers over the Chiefs and Chargers. No one knows who won the AFC West until like 10 minutes after the final game. Like we're all figuring it out. Um, it goes down to the wire. I don't even know what week 18 looks like for us as an organization. Let me pull that up real quick. Our week 18 game is Broncos at Chargers.
Nice.
And our last two opponents are the Chiefs and the Chargers. So,
I
so
I hope
I
I hope that they are not dominant enough throughout the season to be in a position to rest their starters, but I hope they just decide they want to anyways. Harbaugh's just like, yeah, Justin, we're just going to sit you just for fun, you know?
But all right. I think too, playoff wise, I think we win at least one playoff game. We feel like we're built to be a playoff team in a league
Yeah.
where the position groups that are all thin or untalented, everyone has either a thin or untalented cornerback room and a thin or untalented offensive line, and we have deep talented rooms there. We have a deep and talented outside linebacker room. Those pillars, those things that we can lean on, that is, if health is not an issue, we should be a very, very, very hard out in the playoffs. And I would expect us to make our way to the divisional round. I would love to see us get to an AFC championship. I don't think I could. I don't know what I can do to emotionally handle that at this phase in life. Like now that we're full grown adults, we have
My,
jobs, we have like
my
real
body's not built for
responsibilities in
that
life.
kind
I
of
don't.
thing. It'll make me
I don't know if I
absolutely
can
sick.
handle. I
Absolutely
don't know if I
sick.
can handle a deep playoff run on top of all that, but
That's the thing about like, because like I'm not to toot our horn, like I would not consider us casual fans. Not that there's anything
no.
wrong with casual has become like such a derogatory. There's nothing wrong with being a casual fan. I would say like you can tell like if you're more of a hardcore fan because hardcore fans don't go around and saying like, "Oh, this is fun." No, this stuff just absolutely ruins your life. Like people are going to be like, "Ian, the Broncos are in the AFC Championship. Isn't that fun for you?" And I will say, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. Now,
No.
2015 when we finally, hoisted the Lombardi, that was euphoria. It was amazing. It was all worth it. But and we go into the playoffs. I was like, yeah, we can't handle the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry.
God.
And we,
Yeah, that was a,
yeah, and we,
I didn't believe in a single one of those games. Like
yeah,
Pittsburgh, no way.
yeah,
Absolutely not. Our offense versus their, like, no, they're gonna
yeah.
figure it out.
Ben Roethlisberger,
Tom
who is
Brady.
now just simply a fat guy. Like, there's no gimmick anymore with him. Like, you're just a fat old quarterback. I still didn't feel good about it. And then, yeah, we had Tom Brady. Well, who was in between that? Didn't we have to play?
No, because
No, we got the bye. We were the 1 seed, weren't we?
We
were the 1
we were an
seed.
11 win. We were an 11 win 1 seed.
Oh,
We got the
brother.
bye. We beat the Steelers, and that game was close. That was
Well, that was the
like,
game. That was the game where Peyton, like, he fell down, and then like the Steelers and then he got back up and threw, and like everyone has played that off as like, well, he didn't mean to fall down. I know Peyton Manning. That dude absolutely did, and I respect it. He took advantage. No, that dude was absolutely falling down to avoid a sack, and then he took. And hey, it's not his problem that the refs didn't call it. Okay, it's not his fault.
Yeah,
but.
that they just so like that happened. I remember at one point I was just afraid of Antonio Brown at the end of that game, and and just waiting around for him to do something. The Patriots game was unbelievably close. I did not think we were going to beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Are you kidding me? With
That one came
half
down to
a
like
team.
a 2-point conversion or something like that.
That was a 2-point.
Chris
That was a
Harris
2-point
Jr.
conversion that Bradley Roby picked
Oh,
off.
Roby. It was Roby. You're right.
The
Yeah.
the big one, the big stop before the Chris Harris Jr. play was a 4th down stop, while we were trying to hang on to that game late. That
Edelman.
forced then
Oh, that was pure
Edelman in
film study,
motion
brother. Pure film
in
study.
a pre-snap motion. Edelman going across the
Oh,
formation. They snap it, and he should be in the flat. And Chris Harris Jr. stones him
Oh my goodness,
at the
man.
sticks, and makes that stop on a 4th and 2. And that shouldn't have happened. And then we played Cam Newton's Carolina Panthers, who had like the number 1 offense and number 1 defense or something like that, like
Dude.
statistically in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We had no business winning that Super Bowl. And that
We
was that was stressful and unfun until we won it all.
Yeah, I don't like, and I need to make people clear with this. I'm not saying that like diehard fandom is cool. I think it's way cooler as an adult to be a person who has the emotional maturity to be like, I'm going to enjoy watching my football team, and I'll be disappointed if they lose, and then I'm just going to keep living my life, and it's not going to ruin my day. That's emotional maturity. That's cool. Okay, be a casual fan. That's way better. But here we are.
Yeah, listen, here at the Long Distance Kicks podcast, we deeply believe that you should be a casual. So
You can be
if you are
excited
listening
about
to
your
us, stop.
yeah. You can be excited
Don't,
about
don't-
your watch party and your 7-layer dip. You know what? What's happening to me right now? Alec Iamainer is keeping me up at night. What kind of pathetic existence is that? I'm going to be laying in bed thinking about, man, what if Alec Iamainer is that dude? What if we don't have an answer?
I've been thinking about the way we looked so bad against the Raiders earlier on in the first game we played against them this
Yeah.
year where Brock Bowers went down, and I went, what if Chico Guanquo does that? so
Oh man.
yeah, no, enjoy. Listen, the Broncos are going to be fun this year. They're going to be good, so just believe they're going to be good. Enjoy it while they're doing it. They'll eventually, probably most of the time, be good. Enjoy it while you can. And next time we talk, we'll have real Broncos football to talk about. I
I
cannot
love it. I can't
wait.
wait.
This has been fun. From all of us, both of us at the Long Distance Podcast, Long Distance Kicks Podcast, to you, happy season and go Broncos. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.